Right, so for today's video, we actually have an update on a situation we spoke about back in August. And we actually have a big update, including a lawsuit, but we'll get to that. Now, just to add some context in case you need a refresher, or maybe you aren't aware of this situation, there's two main people you need to be aware of here. The first one being Victoria Nelson, this is a TikTok account right here. And the second person you'd be aware of is Sonia Dakar, who is an esthetician. Now, ironically, when we look at Sonia Dakar's TikTok bio, it says, esthetician founded skincare that works. And you'll see exactly why that is ironic the more we talk about it in this video. So back in August, Victoria uploaded a video talking about her experience with Sonia Dakar. Now, I'm not going to go through every little detail of the original video because I already made a video about it. I'll put a link to the original video in the description in case you want to watch that, but I'll give a bit of a refresher here. So straight away, we can see a caption on screen saying, my story about how Sonia Dakar permanently damaged my face. And honestly, this story is incredibly sad for Victoria. I mean, I'm not surprised in the slightest that it's ended up in a lawsuit, and in fact, we've actually found out a bunch more information about Sonia Dakar because of this lawsuit and because of another complaint that we're going to talk about. But again, stand with this original video, Victoria goes on to show what happened.
This is my story about my experience with celebrity esthetician Sonia Dakar and how she changed my face forever.
So yeah, we can see by this picture here just how burnt Victoria's face got because of this service from Sonia Dakar. And this is someone Victoria said she was actually really close to. Like, she'd been going to Sonia for a while. She even like referred to her as a like LA mum. But this quickly changed at one of Victoria's appointments when Sonia insisted that they do a peel. Now, straight away, Victoria says she just felt burning.
So she starts the treatment. The solution is a liquid solution in a dropper, and she starts by applying it to my left cheek, then my forehead, and then my right cheek, and a small drop actually landed just below my left eyebrow. I kind of felt this immediate like burning and stinging, which if you haven't had a peel before, they can have a little bit of a bite to them, but this definitely felt different.
And then Victoria goes on to show some pictures of how her skin changed after this appointment.
Every morning I would snap a photo of my face and send them to her and ask for advice on what to do, and she would give me a protocol of what to apply. I actually am so uncomfortable sharing these photos, but I think it shows what I was dealing with.
Now, at this point, as Victoria actually claims in the lawsuit, Sonia insisted that she was qualified to treat burnt skin, which is why Victoria went on to pay over $30,000 to Sonia to try and get this resolved. In fact, we actually later find out that the total amount that Victoria paid Sonia throughout the years, I think from 2021, was over $70,000. Now, again, in this original video, Victoria says that she ended up seeing a dermatologist who was shocked that this would even happen from an esthetician, and was even more confused why Sonia didn't immediately refer Victoria to a burn unit or a plastic surgeon. Again, as we'll hear in the lawsuit, Victoria is claiming that Sonia said that she was qualified to deal with this, which isn't true. Now, the last thing I'll show from the original video, because this actually gets brought up quite a lot throughout this video, is that the dermatologist was also confused as to what Sonia had used here, and actually assumed that it was a liquid that she shouldn't be using under her license.
I've since been advised by a number of professionals that the liquid probably was medical grade, or at least something that an esthetician shouldn't have access to, and that's what her license is under the California Board of Barbering and Cosmetology.
So now that brings us to a day ago as I'm recording this video, where Victoria uploaded a video saying that she is now officially suing Sonia. Now, I believe there was actually a previous attempt at a lawsuit, but we'll kind of get to that. That's mentioned in the newest lawsuit.
So we're suing. I know that that's the update that everybody has been waiting for. After posting my video, it became clear that Sonia is just one really bad apple. But the deeper down this rabbit hole I've kind of gone, it's become really apparent that she may just be the tip of the iceberg of a bigger issue within this industry. Yeah,
so as we can see, Victoria's actually showing a bunch of other people that have said they've had negative experiences with Sonia. Again, this is something that gets brought up in the lawsuit where there seems to be a history of this.
First is that in partnership with the board and myself, the Attorney General's office officially filed a complaint against Sonia's esthetician and establishment license on November 18th. This complaint includes historical information about the board's interactions with Sonia beyond just my experience. Some of the details in this complaint date back to when I was actually just a teenager. For example, her license was actually revoked before I even had a driver's license. The full complaint is available on the board's website. I encourage you to give it a read. It sent me down yet another rabbit hole.
So yeah, this is actually separate to the lawsuit between Victoria and Sonia. We can actually see the complaint here. It says, before the State Board of Barbering and Cosmetology, Department of Consumer Affairs, State of California. And it goes on to say, Carrie Harris, the complainant, brings this accusation solely in her official capacity as the Deputy Executive Officer of the State Board of Barbering and Cosmetology, Department of Consumer Affairs. And this basically goes through a bunch of information gathered by the board against Sonia Dakar way before the situation with Victoria. And now they're requesting a hearing to be held where they can go through the accusations and potentially Sonia's license gets revoked. Now, I'm not going to go through it all in this video. I did kind of want to focus on the lawsuit in just a bit, but actually looking at this just to show you some of the stuff that's mentioned. We can see here prior disciplinary actions. On about December 31st, 2021, the board filed accusation number so-and-so against Sonia Dakar Skincare to revoke establishment license number issued to Sonia Dakar Skincare. The accusation alleged that Sonia Dakar Skincare had engaged in unprofessional conduct, failed to give access to a board representative for inspection, engaged in the practice of medicine without authority, and was in the possession of and used prohibited tools. Sonia Dakar Skincare failed to timely file its notice of defense, and the board's default decision and order became effective on April 4th, 2022, revoking the establishment's license issued to Sonia Dakar Skincare. Now, this part is actually mentioned in the lawsuit between Victoria and Sonia, because what Victoria is saying is that the money that Sonia received from Victoria was received unlawfully because her license was revoked while she was saying that she was a licensed esthetician. But this complaint goes way further back. I mean, we can see it here. It says, during a board inspection on or about July 29, 2008, respondent assaulted and attacked a board inspector. Respondent grabbed the inspector's hand, attempted to bite her, and pulled her hair. The inspector was unable to complete the inspection and sought medical attention. And it goes on further to say that this ultimately led to the license being revoked again for Sonia. She then filed a petition for writ of mandate with the Superior Court. There was a bit of a back and forth, and then in the end it resulted in a settlement where Sonia was placed on a 3-year probation under terms and conditions. Now again, I'm not going to go through the whole complaint in this video, but if you do want to read it, you can actually go over to Victoria Nelson's Instagram account. She has this highlight here called Sonia, and she has a bunch of information in there, including a link to the complaint. Now we will get to the lawsuit in just a second, but going back to Victoria's video, she goes on further to talk about the complaint, and she says that the focus here is to get Sonia's license revoked.
The AG's complaint is pretty firmly focused on getting Sonia's license permanently revoked, as you'll see in the document. And I'm really hopeful that they take the right action to make sure she can't harm anybody else. Since being issued before I was even born, her license has gone delinquent, gotten put on probation, been revoked, yet somehow she's still been able to stay in business. I'm really hopeful that they'll make the right decision and protect consumers from at least this one person and set a precedent that this behavior is unacceptable.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm not a lawyer, right? But I just don't see how Sonia could even have a case in this, right? Especially if she wasn't even licensed to use the products that she did, and then it caused the damage that it did to Victoria. I'm talking about the personal lawsuit here. Like, I don't get what her defense could be. And that's not the only accusation in the lawsuit either. So, I just really can't see how she can have a positive outcome in this. Now, at this point in the video, Victoria actually does go on to talk about the lawsuit.
My legal team submitted a civil suit against Sonia Dakar. I'm so grateful to have such an incredible team around me who are so determined to get justice in such a twisted scenario. I'm hopeful that Sonia will finally be held accountable for not only what she's done to me, but the countless other people that she's put in harm's way. Sincerely, thank you to all of you who spoke to me, who spoke publicly, who spoke to my team about your experiences with her. I will truly never be able to wrap my head around how she's been able to harm so many people over so many years.
And then to end this video, Victoria goes on to say that this situation is much bigger than just Victoria and Sonia, right? This is something that has affected so many people.
Though this case may state Victoria Nelson versus Sonia Dakar, this has snowballed into so much more. Skincare and treatments are really often bucketed as a vanity play or chasing this elusive fountain of youth, when so often it's actually women looking after a health and wellness practice, like trying to rid yourself of acne, which is by definition a medical condition that estheticians are licensed to treat. However, the regulation in this industry is nowhere near where it needs to be. We deserve to be looked after and protected. Consumers should really have easy, clear access to information as to who we're trusting with the largest organ in our body. Yelp may remove reviews, providers may deceptively market themselves, and the regulatory systems in place to help everybody may just be completely bogged down. but we deserve better.
Yeah, so just in regards to what Victoria said there of Yelp removing reviews, I actually noticed this on Sonia's highlight on Instagram. She's put this picture on here that says, "This feels illegal, Yelp," and it's a screenshot of an email. And I'm guessing, judging from this is an email to Victoria, and it says, "We're reaching out to let you know that our moderators removed your review of Sonia Dakar's skin clinic. We typically remove reviews that promote the reviewer's own business or include offers or incentives that might benefit the reviewer. In this case, we felt that your content crossed that line, even if you didn't intend it to. Your review text is copied for reference below, and we hope you'll continue to share your experience on Yelp while keeping the content guidelines in mind." Now, I'm not exactly sure what Victoria was promoting according to Yelp, right? I don't know if maybe she just, mentioned another esthetician that would do a better job or something. I don't know, right? But we can see a bit of the email here which has the review on it, and it says "Unfortunately, I no longer have anything positive I can say. I was a loyal client of Sonia starting in 2019. She not only permanently damaged my skin but absolutely shattered my trust in the industry. Going in for a standard facial appointment in April 2021," and goes on to talk about what happened. But the problem is we can't see the full review, so I'm not really sure why Yelp took it down, because if there's anything that warrants a negative review, it's this situation. And as for promoting the reviewer's own business, I mean, looking at Victoria's bio here, she says she's the founder of Undeniable Entertainment, which is a talent and brand strategy studio, so I'm not really sure how that would tie into a negative review of an esthetician. So again, I'm not sure why they took it down. But yeah, either way, let's actually take a look at the civil lawsuit here, right? So it's between Victoria and Sonia. We can see the complaints for fraud with requests for punitive damages, money hadn't received, unfair competition, unlawful business practices, and unlicensed practice of medicine. Now, first things first, we can actually see what happened with this previous attempt at a lawsuit. It says plaintiffs sued defendants for personal injuries in connection with the burn incident. It then goes on to say that the action was withdrawn by plaintiff's attorney, purportedly because defendants represented that they lacked insurance coverage, resulting in no compensation to plaintiff. Upon information and belief, defendant Sonia Dakar represented to plaintiff's prior attorney that she did not have insurance coverage and induced plaintiff's prior attorney to withdraw plaintiff's lawsuit against her. Upon information and belief, defendant Sonia Dakar had insurance coverage. Defendant Sonia Dakar deceived plaintiff's attorney, causing damages to plaintiff. If it were not for defendant Sonia Dakar's intentional misrepresentations, plaintiff would have had a meritorious lawsuit. So yeah, apparently Sonia claimed that she didn't have insurance coverage, so at that point they withdrew the lawsuit, and according to this lawsuit now, that was just a straight up lie. But it gets a lot worse than that, because as we heard in the complaint from the board, Sonia Dakar's license was actually revoked in 2022. Now, in this civil lawsuit, it actually gets mentioned again. It says, upon information and belief, defendant Sonia Dakar's esthetician license was revoked in September 2009 and again in April 2022 by the California State Board of Barbering and Cosmetology for, among other things, the practice of medicine without authority, the possession and or use of prohibited tools, failing to pay fines, and assaulting/attacking a state board inspector. Therefore, any money obtained by defendants from plaintiff was obtained unlawfully and under false pretenses, as defendant Sonia Dakar represented herself to plaintiff as a licensed esthetician in good standing with the California Board of Barbering and Cosmetology, but defendant Sonia Dakar was not a licensed esthetician because her license was revoked. I mean, when you actually add in what happened with Victoria with her face being burnt because of one of these procedures, and then you also bear in mind that Sonia Dakar lied about having a license at that time, I mean, again, I do not see how this could possibly be a positive outcome for Sonia. Defendant Sonia Dakar performed procedures on plaintiffs such as microneedling and procedures using a lancet? I'm not really sure what that is, which are outside the lawful scope of an esthetician's license in California. Defendant Sonia Dakar represented a plaintiff that she was authorized to perform microneedling and other invasive procedures, but she was not. Defendant Sonia Dakar also represented to plaintiff that she was a chemist. Defendant Sonia Dakar further represented to plaintiff that she was authorized and qualified to provide post-burn treatment and care, and that defendant's treatments and skincare products would safely repair an active burn injury and improve plaintiff's skin following her injury. In truth, defendant Sonia Dakar is not a medical professional and is not qualified or authorized in any way to treat an active burn injury. I mean, this is bad for many, many reasons. I mean, the main one being is that it meant that Victoria didn't go to a burn unit or a plastic surgeon when this actually happened. But secondly, I think it's safe to assume here that the reason why Sonia claimed, or allegedly claimed, that she was qualified to provide post-burn treatment is because she was either trying to save herself here, right, because she's not licensed to actually do this and could get in trouble, or secondly, secondly, she was going to get a bunch of money out of Victoria by doing these post-burn treatment procedures that obviously didn't work. I mean, it actually goes on to say here at line 20, defendant Sonia Dakar actively dissuaded plaintiff from seeking medical attention. Now, we do also hear some other claims in this lawsuit, like here on line 22, it says, upon information and belief, defendant Sonia Dakar has a history of burning her clients before she burned plaintiff. On line 23, it alleges that she pays her employees to have negative reviews of her business removed and to create and post fake reviews online to counteract negative feedback. And then on line 24, it says, upon information and belief, defendant Sonia Dakar engages in a regular practice of imposing recurring charges on her clients' credit cards without their knowledge, and then instructing her employees to ignore and block clients when they ask to cancel charges or receive a refund. And specifically goes on to claim that defendants charged plaintiff $6,495 on November 5th, 2023. Plaintiff does not know what the charge is for, but is certain that she did not purchase anything with defendants at that time. And just going back to the complaint with the board for a second here, it does seem like, I mean, clearly that the board have been aware of stuff that Sonia's been doing for quite some time. I mean, it actually goes on further here to say, on about June 19th, 2023, the board conducted an undercover investigation of respondent and Sonia Dakar's skin clinic through its representative. The board's representative found respondent was operating an unlicensed establishment at the address by providing services to consumers while the establishment license was revoked. The board's representative referred the matter to the Office of the Los Angeles County District Attorney for further action. And yeah, of course, there are even more details that I didn't mention in this video. Again, I would highly recommend going over to Victoria's Instagram account and looking at the Sonia highlights section, and you can see links to all this information. There is a bunch more, and again, I just can't see a positive outcome for Sonia because, I mean, the board have filed this complaint. There's also this civil lawsuit between Sonia and Victoria. Like, we're obviously going to see how it plays out. It's going to take a while. It's going to be a slow process, especially with, like, the lawsuit. I'm not exactly sure what the time period is for a complaint from the board, but either way, I just don't see how there's a positive outcome for Sonia. But with that all being said, I would love to know your opinions in the comment section down below. How do you think it's all going to play out? How do you think it should play out? Just any thoughts that you have after this video, let me know in the comments. And yeah, if you enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe, all that stuff. And until the next one, I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, goodbye.